Good day, viewers. I welcome you to the first panel discussion hosted by the St. Lucia National Student Council for this executive tenure 2020 to 2021. I would like to say that it's a pleasure having this event to be hosted at GIS, and we do hope that the students would only be speaking from their perspective as students, as we hope. The St. Lucia National Student Council continues to advocate and move on behalf and represent on behalf of students as we seek to host this panel discussion to continue our promise and to give our students the opportunity to voice their opinions, concerns, and suggestions. Today with us we have 3 panelists and a host. And I would like to call on the host, Lenoya Abbott, as she's a student of the SD Secondary School Academy, And this student is the floor-up of the St. Lucia National Student Council, but shows great, superb potential, and she's here today to host and facilitate the panel discussion. So I'd like to call her on. Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. President, for your kind words of introduction. Good evening, viewers and listeners. I am Lenoya Abbott, floor representative of the St. Lucia National Students Council. With me today, we have 3 students who I will now give the opportunity to introduce yourselves. So I want you to share with me your name, the school you represent, your level of education, any clubs of leadership positions you are affiliated with, starting with Tajari.
Hello, my name is Tajari Shari. I go to Eucharist Lewis SD Primary School. I am in grade 6. I was a head prefect in my school, and I was not affiliated with any clubs. Really.
Thank you, Tajari.
Good afternoon, viewers. My name is Dominic Favre. Firstly, I would like to thank the organizers for giving me the opportunity to be here. I'm representing South Louis Community College. A member of South Louis SACC Circle K, I served as a board of director, presently serving as a board of director on the executive. Through them, I also got the opportunity to serve on the regional board for SACC Circle K International, as well as on the regional board, I was promoted to be chairman of a committee as well. Also a member of the Rockets Athletics Club. Thank you.
Good evening, viewers. Good evening, everyone present at this panel discussion. My name is Jonelle Cox. I represent the Binfield Conferences Secondary School, and I am not affiliated with any clubs or activities. This is my first time here as the panel discussion, and I am excited to be here and to take part of this panel discussion this evening.
Okay, thank you so much, students. Before we move on to the first question, please permit me to share a brief overview of our panel discussion this evening. This overview is what struck the National Students Council in St. Lucia to host this panel discussion and relating it to our education experience over the past year. On March 13th, 2020, Minister of Health, the Honorable Mary Isaac, and Chief Medical Officer, Dr. Sharon Belma George, informed the St. Lucian population that the COVID-19 virus was present on our nation's borders. Given that this virus created a global pandemic, the fear and uncertainty came to an all-time high, with majority panicking. Immediately after the statement was issued by the minister and the CMO, the Ministry of Education, under the advisement of the Ministry of Health, made the decision that all schools, both private and public, be closed for physical contact from March 16, 2020 until April 14, 2020. The closure of all schools brought several implications. Working parents being more responsible as they are now the assistants in helping their children at home with learning virtually and supervision. Students without a proper device or no device at all struggled to participate in virtual classes. Many students complained that their morale to continue online learning was at an all-time low. The instability was too much to bear, resulting in some students reporting no interest in continuing school. Bear in mind, counselors were given the daunting task of ensuring that students were in the best mental state to continue with the online platform, given that it was forced on both students and teachers, knowing that they had little to no preparation for it. On May 22, 2020, both private and government-owned schooling institutions, under the advisement of the Ministry of Health, made the recommendation to the Ministry of Education that students who are in grade 6 and Form 5 may attend face-to-face classes for the preparations of national and regional examinations. September 7th, 2020, students were called to dust off their school shoes and books and to get ready for physical schooling after remaining at home for such a long period of time. However, students were informed that they would return to school on a shift system where applicable. Students still made the efforts with what was available and tried their very best to cooperate with the schedule. 6 weeks into the phased reopening of schools, October 16th, a school was exposed to the COVID-19 virus and thus led this school to be closed for a proposed 14 days. Not long into the school closure, the entire school population on the island went into a closure on October 22nd and remains online again until the second term, which commenced in January. Schools were now physically reopened on January 11th, and only 7 days into the reopening of school, one school diverted to the distributed learning method, which is online learning and face-to-face classes. This was because the notorious COVID-19 virus was within the walls and posed a danger to staff and students. January 24th, 2021, the Ministry of Health received confirmation of 2 positive cases of the SARS-CoV-2 British variant, having the ministry to shut down schools again. Until then, students have remained home yet again, all for their safety. We would like to applaud the government of St. Lucia for all their efforts facilitating all our students during these difficult times. Okay. Now we will move to our first question. Tell me about your reaction when the government of St. Lucia issued the first press release statement on March 14th, 2020, stating that the COVID-19 virus was present in St. Lucia and school would remain closed. So I would like you to tell me about your reaction when the government of St. Lucia issued the first press release, which was March last year, stating that the COVID-19 virus was present in St. Lucia and school would remain closed. Let's start with you, Jonelle.
Well, firstly, I was really shocked and worried because I was in the middle of completing my SBAs since I'm in Form 5. So watching like the press release being there, it gave me like, I was really worried first of all, and then like I didn't know what to do, but then I was a very organized person, so I handled the situation much more better. But it was really shocking to see that school would be closed and I'll be writing CXC in a few months. So yes, that was my reaction to the release.
Thank you.
As Jonelle said, I was in a sense in a state of denial, disbelief and concern, or as she said, denial because, you know, I deliberately decided not to give it thought. You know, that's like, it's like when you have something but you choose not to think of it for your own for your own sanity. So I knew it would happen eventually, sooner or later, but when it did happen, I was in disbelief and worried because I knew it would mean a change from away from what we are normally used to, a change from what we could do and what we cannot do under normal circumstances, a change in how we interact with persons, because seeing that we are social, human beings are very social, it would mean we would have to have, we'd have to be more cautious whilst interacting, and you have this burden on your back worrying, like, am I safe in this present environment and interacting? So yeah, that was it for me, I would say.
Okay.
I was scared for my family, my friends, and myself, because all I knew was that people were getting it, and some of the people that were getting it were dying, so I was scared for those who I loved and those who I spent time with for the few years that I've been here. So, but it would also concern me as the fact that I would be taken out of the environment that I knew and loved, or my classroom, because that's where I was used to learning for 7 years. So it was scary, but I got used to it over time.
Okay, understandable. Thank you. So now we will go to the different categories, starting with academics, assignments, exams. The first question is, how was the transition to online learning? The press release came out, and now you were told that you have to learn online. How was that transition? How did you feel? We will start with Tajari this time.
Transition was hard at first. I was not used to online learning, neither was my teacher, so there were some struggles and the worry that somebody might get the virus that we knew, and it was just a scary environment to be in. And also you'll be changing the environment from our home space, which we knew as our just home, our place where we used to take a break from school and get ready for the next day, as our school environment now. So it would be a very hard change.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, as Tajari said, it was a bit overwhelming in the beginning because that's something you hadn't done before. So even when the platform, during the period when the platform was being set up, you were thinking, what next? So then when it did happen, you were left in a position, to try to engage the material and figure out how exactly you would go about doing it, because I'm sure a good bit of the viewers, we had KIP or CXC or CSEC during that period. So then you were just going into it, so you're wondering, like, what would you do next? So it was, and I'm sure it was overwhelming for the teachers, because maybe some were a bit more versed in technology as well than others. So that's what it was for me.
As you said, it was really overwhelming for sure. And I agree on the point with the teachers, because some of the teachers in my school are not as advanced in technology as students. So just moving from the drastic change of being in a classroom where you could write on the board and give out past papers and so on, from writing it online and putting it on a platform so that every student from each form could understand, it was really difficult. On my behalf, like on myself, it wasn't as difficult since I am in advance in technology and I was already typing for my SBAs. But for some others that were like they didn't have and then they just got it, it would have been very difficult for them. But the change wasn't really that difficult for me. I could have grasped the situation and understand that it is for our own good, for our own safety, that we would be in a our own homes to survive the virus and that we will not die.
Okay, thank you for sharing your experiences. So now we're comparing then and now. So now, tell me, how well do you think online schooling has developed from what it was back then, last year around this time, to what it is right now? So let's start with Dominic.
I would say there has been some development in terms of ease of navigation on the platforms and whatnot. But as we know, growth is not necessarily limited, so there is still some stuff which needs to be undertaken. For example, maybe making the platform or the online interface, a bit more interactive, catering for the different learning styles, because you would have the visual learners, you'd have the auditory learners, so they learn best, through hearing, and then you would have the physical learners who like to be hands-on. So, and I feel like presently they're the most disadvantaged with the present online interface because that physical aspect is no longer there for them. So in terms of making it a bit more interactive for everyone, it's still something which needs to be worked on, I guess. Also, I would say more communication, not only among students themselves, as well as teachers and students, but also amongst teachers themselves. So I was thinking maybe more collaboration in terms of when each student will be its teacher, will be giving an exam, because it can be a bit overwhelming, I'm sure, some of the viewers, because sometimes you would have a week packed with work and assignments, some of them on the same day. So if there's a way to put it so that they could best maximize how they would go about doing it in a way to, to be efficient, that's something which would be really helpful, I would say.
Okay. Thank you so much, Jonelle.
Online schooling has developed a lot, as he said, because they had to find a way so that all learners, students, people of all age ranges could find an education online since of the pandemic. I think like for those who was already doing online schooling, so like they grew up in online schooling, it wasn't really affecting them. But like for those who actually attended a school, it was really difficult. But they made it work, as he said. They found some changes that needed to be done so that everybody could get an education while the pandemic was going on.
Okay.
Online schooling has developed well for others, because as my colleagues have said, there are different learning types. Some might be at a different disadvantage while some might be at an advantage. So it would be a little imbalanced for some other types of learners to learn in that environment. So it has developed well for some, but in other learners would say otherwise.
Okay, thank you. So was it difficult trying to grasp certain subjects online? And if yes, what were they? Was it difficult trying to grasp certain subjects online? And if yes, what were they? So let's start with Jonelle.
Well, grasping different subjects, all subjects are different. For example, maths will need a lot of brain work, for example, calculating. Physical education would need like running and knowing about the body. So it was actually difficult grasping some subjects online, since, for example, geography, you would need to do about maps and you need to like draw points on the map. So if it was like digitally and you're not advanced in technology, you not know how to, draw online and so forth. So you had to like draw it on your book, take out the picture and put it on the platform so the teacher could grade it. So it was difficult grasping some subjects online, I would say.
Okay. Tajari?
There were some subjects that would need note-taking, like science, social and health. For me, they easier to grasp because you just have to write notes, try to understand what the teacher would teach you. For others, they would say otherwise, depending on how well they would learn these note-taking subjects. But the ones that would be harder for me are the ones that would need more practical thinking, like mathematics and expressive writing. Though mathematics has always been one of my best subjects, so I didn't have many problems with it. But on the expressive writing side, I had more problems with it due to the transition. So I kind of didn't really figure out as well.
Okay, thank you. Dominic?
For me, as they said, all subjects are different. For me, it was physics. Not necessarily because it's a difficult subject, it's just because that's something I would prefer doing in a physical setting. So also it's a subject which requires a lot of engagement of the material. So I'm trying to balance all the other subjects whilst you're doing it. You may not give as much time to it as you would like. So yeah, but I don't want you all in the viewers, when you're faced with a difficult task, sometimes you don't expect to like get the subject right away, but like if you are consistent with it, sometimes you be like, let's say today's Monday, like Friday you might be hit with the realization and the solution to something you were looking at on the subject which was difficult. So that's what it was for me.
Okay. So would you say there were any improvements in how the subjects are being taught online now? Compared to last year and this time, do you think that mathematics is taught better? Are you grasping the concept much easier? So let's go to Jari.
Some subjects were taught a little better. I wouldn't say it was a lot of an improvement, but it depends on the subject mostly. So mathematics, there'll be some trouble teaching and learning the subtopics of mathematics. Social and the sciences, it would be sort of the same for me, but others were harder and some were easier. I can't think of those on the top of my head right now, but it improved for some and it dropped for others.
Jonelle?
Well, it has improved a lot. For example, for maths and other subjects that needed to physically write, our teachers would allow us to go on Google Meets. That's another form of learning online, where you could have talked to your teachers if you had a problem for mathematics, for example. Yes, they would have meetings online for us to learn concepts and write on our book instead of typing all the time. And yes, it has improved.
Okay.
Yes, I would say there has been some improvement. I'm sure the teachers are making an effort to try to deliver the material the best they can. Some teachers may move to getting, for example, for math, may move to getting styluses to write, so the characters would be a little better on the screen as well. Yeah, but as I said, graph is not limited, and there's still, a good way we have to go to. But there has been improvement.
Okay, great. So how was it trying to manage exams and coursework online back then, last year around this time? And did you have any doubts or any anxiety in the preparation for exams? So how was it trying to manage exams and coursework online last year around this time? And did you have any doubts or any anxiety in the preparation of exams? So let's start with you, Dominic, again.
Okay, managing in the beginning, it was a bit overwhelming because, as we said before, because you would have to figure out how to go about, tackling the coursework and the material. As well as online exams, you're more used to doing exams physically, so you would always have the issue of internet problems, for example. So you might be doing an exam and your browser would freeze you may lose time, that would make you anxious, especially for me. So that's something you would always have, and for me that was the most, I would say, the most difficult or uncertain part, not knowing if you'd have a bad internet day. So yeah, that was it for me.
Okay, Tajari?
It was kind of difficult. I don't know what to say on that subject really, except for the fact that there would be some people who would have internet problems, some people who would maybe cheat, maybe do something that the teacher didn't authorize, and the teacher wouldn't be able to check on it because she's not with us at that time. So it would be harder for the teacher to make sure that we weren't cheating, and it would be harder for us to make sure that we didn't miss anything due to internet connection and all the other things that could happen.
Okay.
Well, I really had some busy times during the online process because, for example, some teachers would send tests at the same time, not knowing that another teacher sent it at the same time. So we would be really busy trying to complete the two tests at the same time because it might be due next week or maybe tomorrow. So it would be, yes, it gave me some anxiety too. And I was really busy trying to study notes because, as I said, I'm in Form 5. I'm going to be writing CXC in a few months. So doing tests and plus studying at the same time, it was really difficult. But I worked through the process. For some students, they handle it well since we have different subjects doing. So yeah, it was really difficult, but I handled the situation perfectly.
Okay, wonderful. So as Jonelle mentioned, CXC, are you prepared in the upcoming Common Entrance, CXC, and CAPE examinations? Did you grasp the different concepts that help you prepare? So are you prepared? Let's start with Tajari first. Are you prepared for Common Entrance, Tajari?
Well, thanks to all the teachers that helped me in this journey, I feel like if I would have more preparation, more studying, and more time, I'll be able to do Common Entrance and pass with a grade that I would accept, and that I would feel like that I worked for that grade. And I would feel more prepared if I had a little more knowingness. I don't want to say knowingness, but knowledge of what will come next, because to me these things are kind of random and we wouldn't know what would come next really. So it would be hard to decide now if I would be ready. It just depends on how the course of my learning goes.
Okay, Jonelle, are you prepared for CXC?
Well, I am in the process of getting prepared. As we all know, the volcano just erupted in St. Vincent, which made it more difficult in the COVID time. And the CXC is in the process of getting things in order. Since St. Vincent, as I just mentioned, the secondary schools are preparing for CXC too. So it would be difficult for them to be having a volcano erupting while they are in the country. So I'm in the process of preparing for myself. I am studying, I'm trying my best. My teachers are helping us really well to get our SBAs to the T. So I'm in the process of preparing, I would say.
Okay. What about you, Dominic? Are you prepared for CAPE?
To be honest, I'm not where I want to be. I still have, a lot to do. They say you cannot be too prepared, so I'm still in the process of preparing. Something I want to do is try to move away from, let's say, more, not assignments in a sense, but to study, to dedicate that time. So you studying for the subject and, for the exam coming up. So, and it's one thing you won't know what's coming on the exam, so you just have to prepare and, trust that you did the work and you will do good. So.
Okay, wonderful. So we're moving on to the category sports, student activities, and extracurricular activities. So back then, did you take part in any sporting activities or cheerleading? Let's start with Tajari.
I personally didn't take much part in sporting activities. I did do racing with my friends and PE, among others. And back then it was way easier. We would run and have fun. We wouldn't worry about social distancing or anything. But now, as the protocols, if we were to have races, we would social distance. We would have PE, we would have to make sure that we were far enough away from each other, not touching each other, not doing anything that would put us at risk. It was easier back then, but I know that it's all for our safety. I personally am not complaining, but that's what my experience.
Okay, Jonelle.
Well, I participated in sporting activities. I ran for my school in Intersec for 5 years. Well, not 5 years, 4 years straight.
Wow.
Last year we didn't have any sporting activities due to COVID. Yeah, and I ran for my school during our sporting events. So yes, I participated in sporting events.
For me, the only event I had time to take part in was marathon, because our marathon was like in September about 2019, but our sports was just before they had to close down the country, so I didn't have time to take part in sports. But my main sporting activities were, I would say, outside of school, when I trained with my club and whatnot. So that was it for me.
Okay, nice. So 1 year later of being online, do you miss sporting events, activities? Do you miss running? Do you miss playing with your friends, and why? So Dominic.
I would say I miss it for sure. You know, athletes, I'm sure many of the viewers that are athletes, they would use the events as a gauge to see where they're at in terms of development. So that's one thing which they're missing out on. Also, I would say I miss more training with my club than necessarily in school sports, because, you know, that's like a second family to you. You know, you get encouragement only and everything. You know, you feel, you know, it's like a home away from home once you're there with them. So that's one aspect I miss, I would say.
Okay, Jonelle.
Yes, I miss sporting events very much, because it was my last year to run for my club and my school. My school, yes, and plus for my house in my school sports. And I missed the chance since COVID came. And I did it for 4 years, so 1 more year wasn't anything I would really like to show my last best for my school, but COVID came and the pandemic, you had to social distance, and the amount of children that's in my school and in Intersec, that's all the secondary schools in one place, it would be too risky to allow us to participate in sporting events. So yes, I really miss the sporting events.
Okay, Tajari.
I do miss sporting events and playing with my friends, because that's one of the ways I would learn more about the body and have fun with my friends, because those are some of the things we like to do. Like, one of my best friends, every lunchtime period, we used to have a race just for fun, for no particular reason, and that's kind of where our friendship grew a little. So I do miss sporting events, and I really wish it would come back soon.
Okay, so just before we take a break, what are your thoughts on virtual sports? Since you already told us how you feel about the cancellation of sporting events, what are your thoughts on virtual sports? So Jonelle, then Dominic, then Tajari.
My thoughts on virtual sports is that it wouldn't really make sense to have a virtual sport in events, since you won't be physically in the place as others to feel the excitement and say, go, 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 run, and you know, all the fun activities you could have.
Yeah.
So it would be like a distraction from the pandemic and COVID-19 and all that is going on, but it wouldn't really, it would make you feel like you miss the sporting events and like really more and so on, because you would want to be there, you would want to eat the food, you would want to run, you would want to do your field events for your shot put. So yes, I don't really like having a virtual sports meet, but it would be fun, like a distraction to all that's going on. Okay. That's my opinion.
Nice.
I would say I agree with Jonelle, because that you will never be able to replicate the physical environment online, because the whole atmosphere of competition is different. They say when an athlete is in competition, they perform even better than on training. So, but I think it can give the students a sense of hope, because even though you won't have the physical aspect, I know through contact with past Sumerians, a lot of them would still be talking about sporting events which took place like 20 years ago. So a lot of them would be looking forward to that, and a lot of students maybe are looking forward to that. So virtual sports, the idea, it is something which I would say should be pursued, just to give the students, like a sense of hope and foster some competition, because even if it's not physical, the students, they will get competitive and they will enjoy it.
Virtual sports is a good concept. I would enjoy it personally, because it would build competition, rivalry, and that would get the distraction away from school, so that children wouldn't be flustered about all the work and all the stuff that we had to do. It would take their mind off all the things that we would usually worry about for a time, and get their sense of fun in their body and have a little fun before they go back into the classroom setting.
Okay, thank you so much, guys. Right now we will take a break, but stay tuned. When we come back, we will speak on the category mental health.
Pas toucher bouchou, pas toucher yeux, ouais caillou, ma webio, protecte famille, quand ça caille trop, ou pas qu'attendre, police caille bao.
Couvre bouchou avant pousser, avant western et mouché, lavez les mots et chavou blé, western caillou soufflé. Comment ça va t'y oisé, avec quoi mon western toi pied, toi pièce mon nous camouté, corona gagne yo coup de pied.
C'est la mort, pas toucher yeux. Pas toucher bouchou et try pas toucher nous. Social distance, 6 feet minimum. For more information, just dial 311.
What's the book are you? Please stay at your home. Coronavirus coffee Nico Al Capone. Can what take cause you even give you diarrhea. Practice good hygiene, corona can disappear. And what by your son? Who bad virus la? Who bad virus la? Who bad virus la? And what by your son? Who bad virus la? Who bad virus la? Who bad virus la? Who bad
Production.
Oi, you realize you step on my toe.
Well, do something about it.
Gasai busting diamond.
Hold on.
If somebody try to cross you and the matting start to take you, no need for war or violence, cause the police there to help you. If a trouble start in the session, alright, no need for aggression. We don't want no violence in the place.
Control your temper, respect each other. Don't let no trouble escalate, cause you know better. Control your temper, respect each other. Don't let no trouble escalate, cause you know better.
Control your temper. A message from Mission Boys, Studio 758, Acid Creations, and the Royal St. Lucia Police Force.
Okay, and we are back. So now we're going to talk about the category mental health, which we know is a very important topic, and many of us students have been affected. So my first question to you, with the back and forth transitioning with online and face-to-face, you know, in the overview I mentioned it, I think it has happened many times. How does it make you feel? How do you feel being in class one time with your friends, you know, getting SBS done, running, and then boom, one time you're back in your room on your computer and you're back to being on Zoom classes on Google Meet? How does it make you feel? So let's start with Jonelle.
In my opinion, it makes me feel overwhelmed because we have to be, one time you're in school and next time you're at home and back and forth. So it's really overwhelming. You have to balance both as a student just to finish your education. So it is really challenging and overwhelming, but we can get through this. I hope the viewers agree with me that we can get through this.
Oh, yes,
we can pass our CAPE exams, CSEC, and common entrance exams.
Yes, we can. Dominic?
Okay, as Jonelle, and I'm sure you, the moderator, can agree with, it was a bit sudden, as she said, for true. You know that we were face-to-face and then boom, online. So it was, but I would say in a sense I'm still a bit thankful. You know, we go in a little bit for labs because, you know, we need to complete like some SBAs for CAPE. So I'm still a little thankful for that little aspect, you know, that little sense of normality, you know, something a little bit normal. So I'm a little thankful for that. So that's one aspect I would say for me.
Things would change. I would rather do it in a physical setting because that's where I'm more comfortable personally. And the moving back and forth from physical to virtual would be a little hard for me because then when I go back to regular school, physical school, it would get me excited. I would feel a sense of hope. But for me, when they close down, I would feel a little let down that I wouldn't get to see my friends again, I wouldn't get to see my teachers again, I wouldn't get to have the experience that I would in a virtual setting. But I would still have a hope that it would get better. So that's just my experience.
Okay, and I totally agree. Like you guys said, it was sudden and overwhelming, and I know it truly impacted our mental health. So 1 year later, how has it impacted your mental health? How are you feeling? What's going on? Like you said, it's overwhelming and sudden, and you just have to deal with it because, you know, it's all for our safety. How has it impacted your mental health?
Now?
Yes.
Well, now it has impacted my mental health that I'm actually very proud of myself that I can balance both being online and physically in a school. So honestly, I got used to it over the past few months because in fact, we have to get used to it because it's for our own good. But yes, I think that I got used to it and that I'm okay with it right now. My mental health is stable. I can, you know, carry on with my work, my assignments without having any problem. And in my opinion, it made me more organized so that I can see, we're online schooling, okay. We're in the school, okay. I don't have a problem with it right now, so.
And that's amazing. I'm impressed because we have a lot of students and it's difficult for them. Wow. Tajari, how has it impacted your mental health?
It was hard. I did not feel like I would ever be able to learn the virtual way because I was so not used to it. It was so new to me that I felt like just breaking down and crying for the rest of my life because I missed online schooling. But then I dealt with it, and to this day I have dealt with it. When we went back to school, I was happy. When we went back to virtual school, I felt sad, and then I moved on because at least we still got to learn something every day.
That is so understandable. A lot of us can relate, so you're not alone in this, Shari. Dominic?
As I saw you, Lenora, relating to Jonelle, I also relate to her as well. You know, it made me more organized in a sense, you know, that I didn't know I was capable of what I'm capable of right now. I'm sure Jari can relate as well. But not necessarily for me, but I'm sure some of the viewers, some of them, their mental health, especially for some of my friends, I know they were most impacted, you know, emotionally and socially. I would say for me as well, because emotionally, I never really used to like confront my emotions, you know, like I just, you know, play no mind, just be normal. But a lot of stress will be developing, you know, being online, because you'd have to try to balance the distractions, especially if you're in an extended family and you have a little sibling, because they're not at school as well. So you may have an assignment due at 2 o'clock and your little sibling running around the house without a pamper, and you have to go and put one on them. So yeah, so that's something you always get. So that would lead to stress and anxiety as well. Socially, I said because a lot of students, they were looking forward to building on those interactions and experiences coming from secondary or primary school with their colleagues. So that's something they were deprived of because, you know, they say the schooling years are your best years as well. So, and I was fortunate at least to get 1 year, being in year 2, but some of the year 1s presently and some of you all, especially the new primary school students going to secondary school, that's something they still need to build on, I would say.
Okay. I personally, it's been tough for me. I mean, my mental health has really been impacted to the point that I took a tent and I placed it in my living room, and I slept in the tent for a week trying to focus on my SVAs, because, you know, you just feel so demotivated, and, you know, you don't have determination, and I must say it helped. I finished my labs. So I understand what you're going through. You're not alone, viewers and listeners, you're not alone. We're all going through it, but like Jonelle said, we will get through it.
Yeah, so you slept in the tent for real, for real?
Yes, I slept in the tent with food, with my laptop. Even my mother slept on the chair with me. And if you see, like, the fan is bent on a chair so it can give me air because the tent is low, and it was just crazy, but yeah. I got through it.
Because for me, I would say you would experience those periods of when you have lack of motivation, and then you just get a sudden burst afterwards. So I've come to realize, you know, that it's a cycle, and sometimes your body is going through something and you may not necessarily be aware, so you just have to trust it. Trust what you're doing and believe you will get out of it. You know, maybe try waking up a little earlier, because I find like during the hours of 3 and 6 are the best time to do work, even though I'm still trying to work on that. But I always turn off my alarm. Like I have 2 alarms. I have one on my phone and then I have an alarm clock. But like when I use the alarm clock, like I deliberately turn it off and I go back to sleep. For some reason my phone works better for me. So yeah, that's what it is.
That's good. Okay, so we have a question from one of our viewers. We were going through a global pandemic where places were closed, you were locked down in your house, and you could not see your friends. It was recognized that this affected the mental and emotional well-being of students. How did you cope with being in the house? How did you engage in? Are there any tips you would like to share with people to handle what's going on right now? So we all went through the lockdown. How did you cope with it? What did you do? And do you have any advice for our viewers and listeners who are really struggling right now and they just need some words of encouragement? So let's start with Jonelle.
Well, honestly, the way I coped with the whole pandemic situation just moved my mind onto things. do my schoolwork. First of all, education is a key, so you have to complete your tasks. But for boredom, like for when you're bored and you just want to, just go and talk with somebody, I used to watch a lot of Netflix and TV shows and so on to just cope with the boredom. Like if you just have a phone with some music, just take a broom and just start singing. You start eating, start singing. Take care of yourself. First of all, I took the time to take care of my skin, my hair, my nails, just to get myself distracted, since we can't physically be talking to everybody and out there. So I coped like this. I don't know if it will work for other viewers, but that's how I coped during the whole pandemic situation. And I also completed my work. That's a priority, completing your work.
And what you just said is basically self-care, and that is very, very important. And that's something that can even assist you in your mental health. Just taking time to breathe. You don't always have to be doing schoolwork. I mean, I'm with you with the Netflix. Literally same.
Can I also say something? Like, even though you don't find some inspiration, like you always doubtful, you feeling depressed,
you have anxiety and stuff like that.
You can just go online, search for some inspirational quotes that can also help. You can read a book, any book you find just laying in your room somewhere that your mother or somebody gave you that you never took the time to read. You can find, just take a cup of tea, chamomile tea, and sit down and just read a book. That can also help with the depression and stress and anxiety that is going around since the COVID-19 pandemic started.
Okay, wonderful. I hope the viewers and listeners are taking notes, because that's some really good advice.
As adding to what Jonelle said as well, the biggest challenge I'm sure the person who posed that question may be facing is, like starting schoolwork when you said to start it. Because personally for me, I normally watch Netflix, like, see when I'm going to eat something, have my laptop there, and I'm watching it. But I don't like to do that because I will end up spending the whole afternoon watching Netflix and not doing my work. So I came across this thing, or like on my phone, like most times we don't start a task because it seems really long. So like give it 5 minutes, just 5 minutes of your time, and you might end up spending 30 minutes on it instead. And to cope with depression, like find something you like to do. Because personally for me, even before the pandemic, like I would just like go on YouTube and just learn, like look at the videos for piano songs and just try to play them. And I've gotten better, I would say, at that. So also blast a little music, dance. Even if you have a little sibling, make them dance with you. Personally, like I enjoy my little brother, his company, it really cheers me up, call a friend, just pick up the phone, make random calls, something normal, if you can't answer the phone, just answer the phone and you get a nice convo. Some persons may say they don't like random calls, but sometimes it really makes your day, so just find something which works for you. Personal development, as Jonelle said, is one way to go. So, pick up a book, even reading it will help you, because I used to read a lot before, and I started back, and it would even help you with memorizing the school work as well. So, just keep at it, and you will get there. Ask some of your friends how they're coping, maybe form a support group as well, or something, which would help you.
Okay, great advice. Tajari?
I use my devices to cope, but not in the way of just downloading random games, see if I like it, and just delete it after like 5 minutes because I didn't like the way it was. I would find a way to have myself have fun and yet still do something productive. What I would do, I would download something like a colored by number game, or something that will make me smile, like something Sudoku, something like that. And when I was done, I would feel satisfied, like I accomplished something. And after that, I would then do what I needed to do for the rest of the day. It would get me the motivation to do what I have to do, because I did something that I liked to do.
Okay, thank you. So I personally, how I coped with it, I mean, I did not do it alone, and I'm pretty sure none of us did it alone. We had our parents to assist, family members, friends, and I personally thank God, because I really think that I would not be able to go through it without Him. You know, just praying to Him every day, that's a source of comfort for me, and it might be a source of comfort for others as well. And like Jonelle said, you know, doing things you like. You had a day of Zoom classes, one after the other, and you have work to do. You know, just take some time to, you know, breathe, take care of yourself, watch a Netflix series. But like Dominic said, you can really get carried away. So it's good to be disciplined and manage your time. So that's wonderful. I hope our listeners and viewers accepted that advice, because it was amazing. Okay, somebody said, after observing your fellow students' today, do you think that most students are looking motivated to learn? You have your friends around you, maybe people on the internet. Do you think that they are looking motivated to learn in these times?
I would say off the bat, no, I don't think they are motivated, and that's something I can relate to as well. You know, motivation, you know, they may be missing that source of motivation. I'm sure if we turn to each other, we can get that motivation as well. But it's also, motivation will only take you thus far, but also like being, you know, like committed to yourself, because you know it's something because you may watch a motivational video, the motivation may last like 10 minutes. After 15 minutes, you realize I need to watch another one. So like try to like be disciplined as well. It's easier said than done, but it's something we all work together and just lean on each other for.
I totally agree with the supporting. None of us can do this alone. So Tajari?
I don't know how to say this without hurting my friends' feelings. That is why I'm taking so long to answer. Okay, not for any other reason. My friends, some of them are motivated to learn online. I personally don't understand it. I do not like online learning whatsoever. And some of my friends would rather sleep the entire day and play video games whole day than do any sort of thing productive. Not pointing out any one personally, but just anybody that I know would rather do anything in the world possible than do online schooling, and that is the truth. Okay. Some of them like it. I'm not going to take them out of the equation, but some of them absolutely hate it. Like it is the bane of their existence. They hate it.
Yeah, and I'm sure the viewers can relate to in terms of motivation. Sometimes you are at home, so you have nobody to hold you accountable, so you go to bed late. Now you have a class starting at 8 o'clock. You would wake up. You know the class at 8 o'clock, but you playing around. So you say you'll not set an alarm. Let me see if I'll wake up. So then you don't set an alarm, and then you end up waking up like for the last 40 minutes of the class. You know, you leave it on edge. So you just try that. So yeah, so that's something. So yeah, so if we work towards it, you know, just be true to yourself and try to gain some motivation. It would help.
Okay, Jonelle, do you think your friends look motivated to learn?
In my opinion, yes and no. By motivated, they would, for example, online schooling, the teachers would mostly send like long excess work so that it can cover like a whole week before they can do another set, which the children would just were like, no, not again. Or sometimes on Google Meets, they would be eating, like all habits you would do at home, you would be doing it during classroom. They would be eating, snacking, they would be tired. Some of my friends don't wake up early, I know for sure, because they go to bed late. So they would be sleeping, and sometimes I would have to call them to tell them we have class now. So honestly, they don't feel really motivated to learn online. But when they are at school, I think they are used to being in a school setting, so that they would just, they'll know I am at school, I have to do my work, so I will do my work. But when it's at home, it's like relax and just do your homework and you finish for the day. Relax, sleep. And so I don't really think they feel motivated at home rather than being in the school physically.
I understand what you're saying, especially when you have to call them. I understand that, and I too think that my friends, it's difficult for us. We're, like I said earlier, we're kind of demotivated, but like Dominic said, it's the support. We work together. You call up that friend to come to class, you call up that friend to do an assignment, to study together, to work together and stuff like that. Okay, so we have another question. Other than school, in your opinion, do you think that teachers tried to cooperate with the entire situation and with the students? Other than school, in your opinion, do you think that teachers tried to cooperate with the entire situation and with the students? So let's start with Shari.
Yes, our teacher did try to cooperate other than school, such as giving counseling, reassuring the children that things will be okay. Probably we would have a games day just to relax and have fun with all of our classmates, connect, have a talking time, just learn more about each other, have a time. And even the teacher would be a part of it, and it would get the morale up, and people would be more motivated to learn throughout the rest of the day for a while. To an extent, yes, but overall the teacher did do things that other than school that would help the children in their personal lives.
Jonelle?
As I said previously in the other questions that you asked us, some teachers are not as advanced in technology as others would be, because it's the modern day, such as if you have a teacher that is around the ages of 50, 40 years old, they wouldn't be as knowledgeable in the technology world as we are today. So in my opinion, it was really difficult for the teachers as well, since they have families. For example, if they have a child around the ages of 5 or 6 years that has just started like infant school, they would need to be online schooling as well. So they had to balance both sending work online for their students and taking care of their families in the process. So in my opinion, they tried their best to handle the situation, since it just came like a boulder just bowling through the place. You would not expect a pandemic to just start just so in the middle of the term and so on. So in my opinion, they tried their best, they did what they can, just as we students did our best, we tried what we can as well. So totally that's my opinion.
Yeah. And it's fair to know that this is new for our stakeholders, our teachers, our parents, even we students. So, yes, Dominic.
Yeah, so as Jonelle said, I would answer the question, I would say no, but it's understandable because, as she said, they have a life outside of school, and trying to juggle everything, as well as if they may have siblings, they may have more than one class, because remember, it's not just, if you have like the primary schools, you would have one teacher. Well, for my primary school, how it was, one teacher teaching all the subjects, but now you would have, let's say, your secondary school or tertiary level, you would have a teacher teaching multiple subjects and have multiple classes. So it's something really difficult for them other than school. I would say outside of school, you know, the onus would be on us, you know, to find something we like to do and to de-stress, I would say. But other than school, at the counseling unit, they have had a few de-stress sessions, so that's something to note for me as well.
Yeah, and it's fair to know that we students, we are the ones who really need protection. And we really need everyone to understand. The ministry, by extension, the government, teachers, parents need to continue to support and be patient with us. I mean, like I said, it's new to us, it's new to them, so we just have to support each other. And I personally can say that my teachers have done their role outside of school. To the, like, you hear when people say your teachers aren't your friends, but I feel like they're my friends with the respect. You know, we still address them Mr., Mrs., or we call them auntie or uncle. So I must say, personally, they have done a lot. They've listened to us when we complain, when we say we're demotivated, and they try their best. Okay, we have another question. Going back to the physical room, what's something you will ask your fellow students to do to keep them motivated in school? So we're back at school. We're back in the physical setting. What is something you will ask your fellow students, your classmates, to do to keep them motivated in school? So we'll start with Dominic.
I would say, you know, like hit the ground running in a sense. So like as I said, maybe form a support group. So physically, maybe, I know we will not want to take up our lunchtime to do work. I'm not suggesting that. But like, if you have, maybe it doesn't even have to be a large group. You just have your friends, your partners, for maybe your friends, and you just maybe like, if there's this one question which was giving you an issue, just tackle it quick before you go out for lunch, so it'll stay with you. So I would mainly say a support group would be the major thing, and sticking to it.
Okay, working and encouraging each other.
Yeah.
Yes, Jonelle.
Honestly, I would tell them that it is almost over. You had completed 4 years. Why give up now on the last year? So it is almost over. And I would also encourage them to like buy a special notebook or journal for themselves and jot down all their frustrations. Write down everything that frustrates them, so it can help with relieving anger or stress or any bad influence they have on themselves that can affect their workflow. Yes, that's what I would recommend for my friends or colleagues or friends or classmates.
Okay. Tajari?
What I did or would do is give them a challenge. What I mean is, for a few years, one of my best friends, him and I have been in competition for the best grades. So we would make a bet. Whoever got the highest grade in first any term would win for that term. We would hold that title, and we would have bragging rights and all that. So I would give them competition or mini rewards, give them something to work for, so that they would have motivation to actually do the things that they have to do.
Yeah,
I love that idea.
Yeah, coming off both of the points, as John has said, you know, you are, if for the students who went back physically today, it's, you know, you're in the final stretch, so why give up? Like, if you give up now, like all the stress you took at home, you know, all the distractions would be for nothing. So yeah, and as John said, Tajari said, challenge, you know, challenge is good. Challenge would keep you motivated, but not to the point where it would destroy your friendship, that you'll not talk again. But like,
True.
I remember like from Form 1 and Form 2, even up to Form 4 about, you know, before we split classes, we would always be like seeing who my fellow colleagues would we would see who got the highest, you know, in first term, second term, third term. You know, we would have a little competition. It would, like in the setting, you would not see it like as a competition to like say you out to get them, but you would just be at your work, and then you would naturally see it turn into a
push you.
competition, you know? Yeah, that's what I would say.
As a Form 5 student, I would encourage my classmates to persevere, to push, to hold on, because like Jonelle said, we're almost there. We're almost at the end, and nothing lasts forever. And even for those who are not in Form 5 and they still have a few more years to go, we're in the final term. I mean, summer is coming. You have your month to enjoy yourself. So just continue to push on and continue. Okay. So my question to you, back then when this whole pandemic thing just started, were there any counseling services with the shift to online learning? Were there any counseling services available from your school, your community, wherever it was? So let's start with Tajari.
I received counseling from my parents. They helped me through most of my journey because they helped me pass the idea that I wouldn't get online schooling, and that gave me motivation to actually complete it because they reassured me that it wouldn't be for long and that I would almost be done. I could take a break, I could have my home as my break space, and everything will be fine. They helped me through my whole experience. So did my teachers, so did my friends. All the people in my life helped me in some sort of way that made my life better for me.
Okay. Jonelle?
Yes, I received some counseling from my school counselor, which name will stay invalid. She really helped in the process. She actually sent like motivational quotes she actually made a Google Classroom where she could have sent motivational quotes and references we can go to if we need help or we feel depressed or anxiety. Because as I said, we are in Form 5, so we didn't have much time to cover up all topics that we needed to, and it's only in a few months. So she helped in the process. I also received some counseling from the community. I can't really remember the name of the counseling team, but they came to like different communities to work with us through the process and how we were feeling, how we were doing, and so forth, and like giving us some certain questions that would like see if we needed more help, and it really helped. Also, as Tajari said, my mom and dad really helped in the process because I'm at home. I couldn't get much time to spend with my school counselor or the counseling team that I mentioned. So they really helped in the process of saying, you can do it, you almost finished, what you worrying for, you know, like something like that they would tell me, which would give me encouragement to just pass through so I can just finish with it.
Okay, nice.
Yeah. As Jonelle said, the counseling unit at our school, they were offering assistance, and they made it clear to the students through emails, I would say. Hadn't necessarily utilized it, but it was there. I think they had a few virtual distress sessions to help the students cope with learning presently in the pandemic and whatnot. So the assistance was there for them.
Okay. For me personally, there weren't any counseling services from my school, but like you said, my mother, she was really there for me. And I mean, counseling services are always available. It's just if you decide to go to a professional. But I still pulled through. Like I said, I thank God and I thank my mother. And it's amazing to hear that you guys got the service. You got it double from both your school and your community, which is amazing. And I hope our viewers and listeners can see the same, because like we spoke about earlier, the mental health, you know, it's important to keep it on track, and that's a way. And you find so many people avoiding counseling services because they think it's bad, but it's really good and impactful. Okay, do you think there has been any improvements in the counseling services being offered? Do you still get them today? If yes, how are they? Do you feel that you got better? Is your mental health more stable? So let's start with Dominic.
Yeah, I would say there has been improvements. I'm not in a position to comment as to the improvements because I hadn't really utilized it, but you know, they have been increasing the awareness among students presently, and making them aware through emails and, as I said, and whatnot. So yeah, I would say I would give them some applause because they have been making an effort. Yeah.
Okay, Tajari.
It has somewhat improved. I didn't receive much counseling services from my teacher, though I know it was better because Miss knew that the situation and she helped us as much as she could pull through to help us know and to make us know that we would be okay to the process. So yes, the counseling services did get a little bit better in my experience.
Yeah, I would say yes, because my school counselor, as school has started and when we used to be in the school physically, she would pass just to say, "Hi Jonelle, you okay? Hi, whoever is in the class, are you okay? Are you feeling well?" Or just a simple "are you okay" would help with just checking ourselves or checking if somebody is feeling okay. Or she would, if she see we are feeling down, she would call us personally, not to make everybody know that something is going on, just to give us the satisfaction and like relief that we have somebody who cares about our opinions, our mental health. So yes, I would say it has improved tremendously, and my mental health is stable because I can get through this, as I said, and I hope viewers can get through this also, because it is a triumph time which is very difficult, but we can get through this.
Wonderful. I love to hear it. So in 1 minute, I would like you to answer our closing question. Overall, how has the experience been from online learning, and are there any suggestions you would like to share with your school, administration, or the government of St. Lucia? Do you think that more emphasis should be placed on online learning? Let me repeat it. How has the experience been from online learning, and are there any suggestions you would like to share with the school administration and the government of St. Lucia? Do you think more emphasis should be placed on online learning? Tajari, you can go ahead.
Online learning was a struggle. There's still some struggle in the online learning, though there should be, in my opinion, there should be a dedicated platform to learning so that it will be easier for teachers and students to work and perform at least as well as they would in physical class. I'm not saying that it is bad now, but I am saying that if they were to have a dedicated platform, it would be much better.
Okay, great. Dominic?
I would say we have to work with what we have. So, like both aspects need to be developed. So, in the back and forth, if we have to go back again, the infrastructure would be there and developed in a way that would benefit all the students. The suggestions I've made, I would say, as I said earlier, maybe make it a little more interactive, cater for all the different learning styles, especially the learning style most disadvantaged as well. I would say more collaboration, to ease the burden on students in terms of workload. They would say time management is an aspect, which it is, but it's not the only aspect. So, to ease the workload would be, a system of collaboration amongst teachers would be something else, I would say.
Okay, thank you.
I would say that the process right now is going smoothly, but they would need to also check the unfortunate that don't have the much technology, for example Wi-Fi, laptops or tablets, to help them complete their work, because there are some students in my school which don't have the money or their parents are unfortunate with them to get the supplies they need to continue online schooling. So the government should at least look into that. I know they are trying, because everybody is trying, but they should at least check the unfortunate so they can actually get an education, because there are some very smart students that don't have the necessities to complete their work, but they can do it. So I would suggest that on the matter.
Okay, wonderful.
Coming off what Jonah said, that's a point, it slipped my mind, you know. So, you know, catering for the indigent or the less fortunate, you know, because the foundation of our country would be our youth. So if we educate them properly, in a sense, you know, no one's left behind, it would benefit the country in the long run, you know, even in your socio-economical sectors and everything as well.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you so much, students, for sharing with us your opinions, experiences, suggestions, and concerns. I must say I enjoyed talking to you. The St. Lucia National Students Council will continue to give you all the opportunity to make your voice heard and to advocate on your behalf. Thank you, listeners and viewers, for staying with us. Remember to practice the protocols by wearing your mask, washing your hands, and social distancing. Stay safe and do your best. May God continue to guide and protect you every step of the way. Just before we end, I would like to now call on the President of the National Students Council, Mr. Sherwin Alexander.
Thank you very, very, very much, Miss Moderator. And the panelists, great job. Round of applause to you. Very, very great job. I hope the public got a lot of information, especially getting information from the individuals who are affected directly in this educational tragedy through our primary, secondary, and tertiary level education. We do hope that GIS permit the St. Lucia National Student Council to have many more of these panel discussions where, like I said, you're getting the information directly from the individuals who are being affected. So thanks very much for viewing. Thank you, panelists. Thank you, Ms. Moderator. And we do hope that you have a blessed evening and really take into consideration the statements that were made by these students and their different opinions coming from different schools. Thank you very much and do enjoy.